Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about the iPhone 16 lineup that we should be expecting in September of 2024. This looks like it's going to be a really exciting year for the iPhone, so let's go ahead and dive right into the video. And quickly before we get started, I want to issue a quick little apology again. I know I keep saying this all the time, but you know, I tore my ACL. I've been kind of down and upset, depressed, and haven't been able to do all that much, but this year I am committing to one video a week minimum, no matter what. So let's go ahead and get this new year started with an iPhone 16 video. First, we're going to talk about the screen size. So it looks like this year with the iPhone 16s that the regular models are going to keep their exact same sizes. So that means the regular 16 and the 16 Plus, but it looks like the Pro models are going to get a slight size increase, which I think a lot of people are going to be happy with. It is now rumored that the size of the 16 Pro is going to be increasing to 6.3 inches, and the 16 Pro Max is going to be upping itself to 6.9 inches. That's just a 0.2 inch increase, which isn't a whole lot. Most people won't even notice that size increase, but I thought I would just let you guys know. It looks like the screen will be increasing in size just slightly, which, 0.2 inches increase, that's pretty solid. And I don't really think iPhones are going to get that much bigger anymore. Like a 15 Pro Max right now is big enough, and I think anything bigger than that, like actual size-wise, is just going to be way too big for a cell phone. We're also going to be getting a new A-series chip this year in the iPhone 16 lineup, built with the latest N3E 3nm node chips, so we should see a bit of an increase in performance, efficiency, all the usual stuff. It's not going to be all that noticeable if you're coming from like a 14 or a 15, but nonetheless, it is going to get slightly better. It also looks like we might be getting a mystery button, which we don't really know what that means. That's why it's a mystery. And if we are indeed getting something like that, I would hope it's like an extra action button. I think that would be nice. Maybe one on the other side or something, so you can have two different customizable buttons on the phone. I think that would be a pretty cool thing to add that I think a lot of people would like. Now let's talk iPhone 16 designs. So it looks like we've got three different prototypes for the iPhone 16s here. They've all got slightly different features, and they're all going to have a vertically aligned camera, which is going to set itself apart from this year's models, which the regular 15s had a diagonal camera system. It looks like we're going back to vertical. So that's going to be a way for someone to know that you have a brand new iPhone 16. I know it's a really subtle change that they really only do so that people know it's a new phone and you want to buy it, but it looks like that might be changing and going back to a vertical system. You can see in this image right here that we have a pill-shaped iPhone X style camera, which is something that they might be going back towards, or they might just have the two separate lenses like so on the other ones. So a subtle design change right there on the back of the phone. Personally, I like the vertical. I think it just looks better aesthetically, and I think I kind of lean towards the iPhone X style pill-shaped camera system. To me, it just looks a little bit better, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Now let's talk size changes for the 16 Pros, because it looks like the overall phone is going to be getting slightly bigger. We can see on this chart here that the iPhone 16 Pro on the height department is going to be 149.6 millimeters compared to 146.6 on the 15 Pro, so very, very small difference there, and that's obviously going to help in making that screen size a little bit bigger too. Same thing with the width. We've got 71.45 versus 70.6, and then due to the increased size, it's also going to weigh slightly more as well. I don't know if it's going to be enough for you to notice a difference in the weight when you're holding the actual phone, or if it's going to be so minimal that you don't. I'll definitely let you guys know when I do my unboxing in September though. And then we've also got a chart here for the Pro Max models, which you can see again the height and width of the phone is going to be bigger than the previous model, which is also going to make the phone weigh a little bit more, but also increase that screen size to 6.9 inches like we were talking about earlier in the video. It also looks like we might be getting some new display technology. The iPhone 16 OLED panels could be going towards micro lens technology, and that's going to help the phone's brightness just be able to increase a little bit more. So that's going to be pretty helpful for a lot of people that are outside a lot, or maybe have like big windows and the sunlight goes directly on the phone. I know myself, whenever I'm outside and trying to use my phone, it's still a bit of a struggle even with the 15 Pro Max. So I'm really curious to see what the display is going to look like on the 16 Pro Max when I'm outside. It should also help with reduced power consumption, which is going to be nice and save a bit of your battery life. And these OLED panels should overall just be a bit of an improvement in a bunch of areas, especially in power efficiency. Okay, now the next thing we're going to talk about is actually really interesting interesting because we've heard rumors for a few years now that Apple is going to introduce an Ultra model for their phones. So just like we got an Apple Watch Ultra, which is like the top of the line Apple Watch, it looks like they might be introducing that for the iPhones as well, which is pretty exciting, and it sounds like it's going to be a bit pricey. So if Apple does introduce this 16 Ultra, it's not going to be replacing the 16 Pro Max. It's reportedly going to be sold alongside the 4 iPhone models, which I'm not a big fan of. I've just never really been a big fan of selling multiple different models within a phone line. Like, we're gonna have 4 different phones and then a potential Ultra as well. Like, it's just too much. I think the Ultra is essentially gonna be like the Pro Max, but with a couple of different things, so I think they should just get rid of the Pro Max and put the Ultra there, or just give whatever features that are supposed to be on the Ultra, just give it to the Pro models. So some of the features that we should be seeing in an Ultra model, if it does happen, is camera improvements, a bigger display, and perhaps even a portless design. Now that right there, I know some people get really excited about portless, some people absolutely hate that idea. I kinda don't really have a preference. I have a lot of wireless chargers and I don't really use any cords on my phone, so if they went portless and just increased the battery size or something, I would be totally fine with that. But I know some people are going to be really pissed off about that, so I think it's going to be a really controversial decision if they do a portless design, especially if it's the most expensive phone. People want options, you know, like use a cord or wireless or whatever, and if you're taking away an option, a lot of people get upset. They're like, oh, I spent all this money on chargers and all that, and now it's useless. And I get that argument, I really do. I used to work at an Apple store, and believe me, people would get really pissed off whenever Apple changed something. For example, Lightning to USB-C, that was a nightmare to deal with. But yeah, it looks like we might be getting an iPhone 16 Ultra. Now let's talk about the action button, because it looks like it's going to be coming to all of the models, which I think is a great thing. Apple tends to do that. They add a couple options for the Pro model phones, and then the following year they put those options on all the phones, but then give the new Pros some other new options, and then they just kind of recycle that whole idea, like taking the options and features and everything from the Pros, adding it to the other ones the following year. So if you guys recall, the action button was exclusive to the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, and it looks like it is going to go to the regular 16s. It's a pretty cool function to have on a phone. I use mine pretty much every day. I put my action button to the camera setting, so whenever I hold that action button, it opens up my camera. I can film my videos, take a photo, whatever, and it is pretty helpful. It's sometimes hard to remember because I've been using iPhones for like 20 years, right? And to just add a button, I just sometimes forget it's even there. But it is a really cool feature nonetheless, and it looks like it's going to be coming to all models. It also says here that the action button might be a little bit larger and could be flush with the iPhone's body, which, to be honest, I hope it's not, because I like having the actual feel of a button on the side, and if it's flush with the side, I'm gonna always be running my fingers and hitting the wrong thing. But anyways, it looks like the action button will be coming to all models, which I think is a great idea. It also looks like Apple's going to be introducing thermal improvements. If you guys have a Pro model phone, especially with the always-on display, you'll definitely notice that the phone gets a little bit warm here and there. So it is nice to know that Apple is working on that overheating issue, especially on the Pro model phones, and hopefully it's solved with the 16. I don't really know if it will be, but it is nice to know that they've acknowledged it and they're actually working to try to fix it. The iPhone 16 Pro models also look like they're going to be getting Wi-Fi 7 connectivity, and this comes from Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who stated that the next generation Wi-Fi 7 technology is expected to provide speeds of at least 30 gigabits per second and could hit up to 40 gigabytes per second. That is really freaking fast. So if the 16 Pro models do adapt this, I think that would be awesome. It's really only going to be beneficial for people that maybe are, you know, working in a workspace that has Wi-Fi 7 connectivity, because for the average person, most people don't even have 5G connectivity. There are a lot of people are on 2.4, but nonetheless, it is extremely fast, and it is nice to know that they are potentially going to be adding that to the 16 Pros. Now lastly, let's quickly just talk about some of the design features that we should be expecting with the iPhone 16 lineup. The regular iPhone 16s, we should be expecting just your basic, you know, dynamic island and USB-C port. For the iPhone 16 Pros, we are expecting to potentially see a pinhole camera design, which will obviously make the screen size appear a bit bigger, which is a great thing. We've had the dynamic island for the past few years, and I like it. You know, I actually see the benefit in it. Some of the UI is pretty interesting, and to be honest, it just kind of looks cool, but if I can minimize that, I am all there for it. A pinhole design with the camera would be great, which would potentially mean that we get a Face ID under camera. I don't care if the phone costs like an extra $100 or whatever, as long as I can get rid of the dynamic island or pinhole design eventually, I'm all there for it. I know other phones have that, but Apple just hasn't been able to do it yet. But it looks like we're getting closer and closer because these 16 Pro models might have that pinhole design. A lot of people are talking about this online, saying it's going to be like the dynamic circle instead of the dynamic island, or dynamic pinhole or whatever, and I am all there for that. I think it would, really set it apart and actually take some steps forward to hopefully getting that full screen display very soon. There's a lot of reports that we could be seeing it as early as 2025 or 2026, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening in 2024. So yeah, guys, some really exciting stuff for the iPhone 16 lineup. Once again, if you are someone that's going from last year's model to this year, it's obviously not going to be, that drastic of a change. But if you're someone that's maybe got like an iPhone 11, iPhone 12, maybe even iPhone 13, it is going to be a pretty big jump for you, especially if you have something older than those. Like if you have like an iPhone 8 or whatever, it is going to feel like a brand new type of technology for you. So yeah, this is really exciting. I think the big takeaways here is the overheating issue is getting looked at, bigger screen size, a portless iPhone 16 Ultra, that sounds pretty interesting to me, and the pinhole design on the 16 Pro models. I think that's like the big four. But let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about all of this. Are you planning on getting an iPhone 16, and if so, which one? If they do introduce a portless 16 Ultra, I'll definitely be getting that one. If they don't, then I'm obviously going to keep sticking with the Pro Max models. I've loved them for years, and I can't see myself downsizing to like a Pro or a regular size phone. I gotta have the big one. So guys, that's it for the video. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about all of this news regarding the iPhone 16s. I'm really curious to know what you guys think, and also, like I said at the beginning of the video, sorry for not uploading that much over the last few months. I'm starting to feel a bit better, a little bit more like myself now. I want to hit over 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Hopefully I can even hit like 50,000 or more. I obviously got to put in the effort and not injure myself and just shut myself off from social media in general. So here's to a great 2024. I hope you all had a fantastic new year. Let's crush our goals this year, and thank you for watching my first video of the year. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.